Hi everybody, Alex Deploy here from Expert Forex, and in this video I'm going to show you a little bit more about the Trendline-Magic EA. Now the EA is loaded onto this particular chart, but what you would do first is you do your own analysis of this particular chart, and I'm going to do a very quick analysis. We've got a channel developing here which is quite nice channel developing there, and what we want to do is we want to buy the bounce off there, but it might not even reach there. There's also a very nice trend line that's going around here somewhere. There's a nice trend line going there. So then we've also got a bit of support resistance around about this area, so it might not reach the upper channel line. What we want to do is we want to sell when it reaches this area here, or we want to sell if it breaks out of that particular trend line. I've got Trendline-Magic EA loaded, so all I need to do is now activate it. So what I'll do is I'll press F7 to get the input screen going, and the trend lines are currently disabled, so I enable them. I want the top one to have a touch. When it touches the trend line, I want to sell it, and I want to use position management. I'm just going to put a rough stop and target, so it's going to be 100 pips. It'll easily reach that. Then on the second line, I also want to enable that one, but this one I want to only enter when the bar closes below the trend line, because it's a breakout type of trade, and that's the way I like trading breakouts, is on confirmed breakouts. And I want a sell there, and I want to use position management. Again, I'll just go for 100 for this example. Okay, so now we're basically ready to trade. So I'm going to click on OK in the input section, and it then brings the lines up on the chart. Now, important to note that these lines aren't active, because it's very dangerous. We could just slip and touch the current price, and it could activate a transaction. So at the bottom here, it tells you these trend lines that have been created are not active yet. We need to put them into place and then activate them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this one into place. I want it to be just off this trend line that I've drawn here, just outside of it, something like a bit slippery. Okay, there we are. And this one over here I want on that channel line over there, or just inside, just to make sure that I don't miss the transaction. So there we are. So now we've got two sell transactions. If the price now goes up and touches the upper trend line, it'll activate a sell that hopefully will go down in the channel. If it doesn't quite reach there and goes through this particular trend line, it will activate a sell and hopefully also go down this particular channel. So we're in place, we're ready to trade, and all we need to do is press F7. So we'll press F7 and say OK on F7, and now our trades are active. They are active orders waiting to be traded, and they will only activate once the upper one touches the trend line, or the other, the lower one, if the price goes below the lower one and closes below the lower one. That's the way I've set it up. We've also added a facility where if the one activates, the other one can be cancelled. So for instance, if the top one activates, you don't want the bottom one activated too. So when the top one gets activated, the bottom one will be deactivated. And you can do it the other way around too. That's the status of the Trendline-Magic EA at the moment. Let's have a look at a couple more charts that I've created and that I'm trading. Okay, this is the pound. Similar idea. There's a trend line here. I want to trade the trend line when it crosses the trend line. So I've got a sell trend line there, and I've got a bounce trend line at the top. No, this is a bit too close, too far from the channel line, so I'm moving it up a little bit. So those are the kind of things that you can adjust as you review the transactions. So I've got two sell transactions on the pound. Let's have a look at the euro. The euro is in the middle of a channel, trading a possible failed swing or a possible bounce at the top of the next channel line. So again, two sell transactions happening there. So let's move on to the next currency, The Oz is channeling downwards quite strongly, so I've got a sell when it reaches the top channel line, and I've also got a sell should it not reach the top of the channel line and create a failed swing. So again, 2 sells in that particular area. Then let's move to the franc. I've actually decided not to trade the franc at the moment. I have a deal in on the euro, so the franc is not being traded. The yen is very similar to the pound yen we looked at earlier. I've got a trend line, a much better trend line than that one, and if it crosses over that trend line, I want to be in a sell. But if it touches the top, which is not far from doing, it will create a sell and go downward. The euro yen doing something pretty similar, also a nice trend line violation, which could create a sell opportunity there, or a channel bounce opportunity at the top. So again, 2 sells in place there. And again, what's nice about this is I just have to review these charts once a day or twice a day to correct, because these are the 4-hour charts, so you don't need to watch them all the time. Again, here I've got a downward channel. Again, we've got the similar situation. There's a bit of a trend line, and I want to get into the sell if the trend line gets broken. But there's also an upper channel line that it could bounce on, so I've got 2. I've actually moved the bouncing point slightly outside of the channel because it looks like it could go out there. There's quite a strong support and resistance area, and I want to sell there. So there are my 2 transactions for the Aussie yen. Then for the euro pound, not such a great chart, but here you can see a nice double top developing, so I want to trade the sell if there's a trend line break on that double top break. It will also represent a failed swing on the channel trading basis. So there we are. I've got a transaction program for this particular one, but should it start breaking north and creating higher highs, I also want to buy this one because that would be with the trend. So I've also got a horizontal, in this case, line that will create a buy should that be violated. And this is the euro Oz, exactly the same thing. You can see a very nice channel developing. If it hits the top of the channel, I want to trade downwards, or if it makes a false swing, I want to trade the breakout. Very easy. When you channel trading, this is really a fantastic tool to use, this EA. And then some charts just don't set up properly, and here's one. This is the New Zealand pound, the pound New Zealand. I just have decided not to trade this one, so I'm leaving this one alone. I hope I've given you some ideas on how you can use this Trendline-Magic EA. I've only shown you the channel trading application. You can use it any way you want, whether it's just plain support and resistance or plain support trend line violation trading that you do. The principles remain. You can program those trend lines the way you want them to be, and then manage them from there on. If one activates and you don't want the other one to activate, it will do that. It's also pretty safe because you only switch the trend lines on once they are fully in position and programmed correctly. Then only do you switch the EA on, so it's a pretty safe EA from that point of view. And really looking forward to the launch next week. We're just tidying up all the training material and the user guides and things like that. Now please remember, each transaction can be programmed with a break-even stop, a following stop, a target, and a stop. So all of those are catered for. But if you do see anything more that you would like in this particular EA, please let us know. Each EA comes with 2 trend lines that you can manage. You can enable one that you don't want to use and enable the other one. If you need more trend lines, pretty easy. All you do is you open another chart with the same currency and run the EA off that particular chart. So you can use more than 2 trend lines quite comfortably. So from me, Alex Employee, cheerio, and I'm looking forward to the launch next week. Thanks for watching this video. You can find links and more information about the video in the description. If you found it interesting, please like it and share it with your friends. Also remember to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any future Forex trading videos. So from me, Alex Employee, cheerio.